answer to it all.
Morning, Gaffer.
Morning, Jim.
Isn't it about time you got your brakes fixed?
I don't know, it's too expensive. It's cheaper to hit something.
He's the Gaffer. Doesn't need to take advice. He's the Gaffer. He's the Gaffer.
Oh, I'll kill that cat. This tea tastes terrible, Betty.
I know. Why do you think I don't drink it?
Thank you. Are we using different tea bags?
No, it's the water. It's a special brew they send round to people what don't pay their rates.
I can reach you with it from here, you know. Come in.
Can you see a union deputation, Gaffer?
Oh, not again, Harry. I'm up to my ear holes. All right, wheel him in so I can say no straight away.
Right, I'm wheeled in.
What, you mean you're it?
I'm the only one that's turned up for work so far.
Well, at least the vote would be unanimous. All right, what's it all about?
I don't quite know how to put it.
But it's got something to do with the redistribution of wealth.
How did you guess?
I'm psychic. Look, I'm sorry, Harry.
Oh, I hope there's not going to be another sob story, Gaffer. My hanky's still wet from our last haggle.
There's going to be no haggling, Harry. You've had the limit.
We've had nothing.
I know, that is the limit. I'm sorry, Harry, I've had my instructions.
Who from?
From a gentleman by the name of Andrew S. Williams,
Who's he?
the Secretary of State for Overdrafts. Well, at least he's always writing to me about the state of mine.
Who is he?
My bank manager.
Ah, come on, Gaffer. You know the rules of the game. You make me a miserable offer, I fall about laughing and quadruple it. You scream in agony, and then we split the difference to what we reckoned in the first place. Come on, you can afford it. You must be making a small fortune with the work we are turning out at the moment.
There's only one way to make a small fortune in business these days, Harry. I'd start with a large one and lose half of it. Look, in a few weeks' time, when we finish this contract, I might be able to afford it.
Well, my missus reckons you can afford it now.
Now, will you go and tell your missus that you can't get blood out of a stone? Otherwise, there'll have black pudding factories all over Mount Everest.
No! You try telling her when your wife turns up wearing a new fur coat at the Conservative Coffee Club, which my missus is cheerleadying wearing her mock rabbit.
Thank you, Betty. Just keep out of it. Look, Harry, I'll tell you what I'll do.
I will accept no more IOUs. We all know from experience they are not worth the blood they are written in.
You're always talking about workers' participation. I was just going to suggest that I give you and the lads a few shares in the firm.
We will accept nothing that they don't take at the supermarket checkout.
Ye of little faith. The shares will be security against your pay rises. Then in a few weeks' time, when my bank account gets a kiss of life, I'll buy them back.
Go on.
Well, in the meantime, you can tell your missus you are now a shareholder in this thriving company, and she'll be so busy practicing her one-upmanship on my missus, she'll forget to assault your eardrums.
Yeah, it could work, I suppose. She's always rather fancied herself as a top executive type with a long cigarette holder and short board meetings.
You know, Harry, you and your missus are so different. It beats me how you ever came together.
Well, I was in the Lads for Labour mob, flogging copies of the Workers' Weekly, and I asked her if she supported socialist youth. She said, judging by the taxes she paid, she supposed she supported damn near everybody.
You know, you make her sound like a truss. Did the post come?
Oh, whatever happened to that gracious old world courtesy, where people had time to greet one another before the starting gun went for the 8:30 rat race? Like a good morning, venerable employer, and how are you feeling today?
If you must know, like Attila the Hun. And he used to sack everything in sight, you know, so watch it. Anything from Oglethorpe's?
Only a cheque so fat that it'll have to be endorsed by Weight Watchers.
Thank the Lord for that. This is the biggest relief since they invented corridor trains. Stick it in the bank. before they send us another threatening letter. Hey, will you go and tell Harry I want to see him? I want to settle up.
Settle up?
I want to buy back their shares I gave them in lieu of a rise.
Oh, that reminds me. There's another letter from your accountants.
What, you mean this one that's marked personal, private and confidential? That seems to have committed suicide by throwing itself onto your paper.
Don't blame me. I tried master flat resuscitation, but the glue don't work. Not that I read it. I don't like horror stories anyway.
If you don't go and fetch Harry, you'll be the victim of one. The devil's this? Come on. Dobson's? Is that Brownlow? Fred Moffat, Moffat Engineering. I've just received your letter about Mrs. Petty, my mother-in-law. I see you've issued her some shares in this company. Can you tell me why? Yes, I remember she loaned the firm £1,000 some years ago. My wife does remind me of it from time to time, 24 hours a day. Look, when I made the agreement, the repayment, I wanted the repayment in cash or shares to give me a let out, not her a let in. Just a minute, I'll be with you in a minute. Hey, but wait, can you... Hang on a minute. Do you mind if I do the talking? I'm paying. Can you tell me who gave you the authority? Well, what's my wife got to do with it? Yeah, I know she's on the list of directors. I mean, they stick a monkey on the top of a barrel organ, but they don't let it turn the handle, you know? well, how many shares? How many? Look, the agreement was for £1,000 worth of shares, not 1,000 shares. Those shares are worth a damn sight more than £1 each now, you know? All right, well, hey, in future, if I pay your wages, I expect you to be impartial in my favour. Thank you very much indeed for note.
Do you want me, Gaffer?
What? Oh, well, my bank account's back in the black at long last, so will you arrange for you and the lads to let me have those shares back? Right. Yeah, I don't know.
What are you offering?
You what?
For our shares. How much?
What the hell are you talking about, Harry? The agreement was a bonus, £100 per man, redeemable against the £101 shares I gave you each as a security.
That was before I heard you say that they were worth a lot more than £1. How about £5 each?
You don't think I'm giving 500 apiece to you, what?
All right, then. We'll just hang on to them, and then we'll collect our dividends at next week's annual general meeting. It's about time we had some controlled industrial democracy around here.
Controlled? And I thought democracy was one man, one vote.
Oh, that's the ordinary kind, love. Industrial democracy is one union, one vote, and we are the one union. See you at the AGM.
We seem to have a mutiny on the Bounty.
There might be a mutiny, there will certainly not be any bounty. Get my missus on the phone.
You're wasting your time. She phoned earlier. And are you in trouble?
What for this time?
You forgot your silver wedding anniversary, didn't you?
No, not again. Did she tell you I also forgot me brass, copper, tin, iron and scrap metallings and all? She shouldn't have married a man, she should have married a metal detector.
Well, she's gone off in a huff. In fact, she caught the first huff to come along.
It is not the morning, Betty, if you don't mind. Just get her on the phone.
Oh, and she said to tell you that your dinner's in the supermarket.
That means another session of bird's nest and chips. I don't know what those birds get up to in those nests, but it don't half kung fu my Elsa. Where's she gone? Her mother's?
Where else? She should get a season ticket.
It's just the same. One wrong word, she shoots back home like Formula One knicker elastic.
Your mother-in-law.
Is there any way I can feed this into the main supply? Hello, Mrs. Petty. It's Fred. The man that married your daughter, yeah. Could I have a word with her? No, I want to ask her one or two things like... Well, you know, things like... Is that orange stuff she's left in the fridge brown custard or yellow gravy? Yeah, I know, yes, I know it's my wedding anniversary. I have been informed. I don't know what all the fuss is about as long as a man can remember to turn up in the first place. All right, then, in the second place, will you fetch her? Hello? Hello? Why don't you go and see a taxidermist? She's rung up.
Well, that's no way to talk to your new shareholder.
Oh, well, I forgot that. What am I going to do about these shares? I've got two lots at it now. I think I'll go and invest in a little insurance with old Jack Hardcastle.
Jack Hardcastle?
Ah, Mrs. Pitty used to be very sweet on him, you know, when they were younger. He used to have to fight her off with a stick. And he can still twist around his little finger. Mind you, I think it reminds her about what he used to twist around. Oh, Jack, the old one. Can I have a quiet word? Oh. How do you fancy having a few days off?
Hey, you're not trying to make me redundant, are you? I can still manage an 8-hour day, I know.
Oh, I'm sure you can. And an 8-hour night from the tales I hear about the Senior Citizen Centre. You still chase the girls about a bit together?
But only downstairs and in bungalows. Limits, mate.
My mother-in-law's always on about you, you know. I believe you know her, Maggie Petty.
Like Barnsley Coke gas oven on Whip Thursday.
I know what you mean. She fancies you, you know. Listen, I'm telling you, she never stops going on. Why don't you go round and see her?
Barely time for me ferrets as it is.
No, I don't. That's what I meant. I meant in working hours, you see. I've heard she's trying to buy herself into the firm, and I'm a bit worried. I mean, you know what she like. You know what she'd do?
By gum, she'd have lace curtains at all the windows, scrub floors, clean towels. Place wouldn't be fit to work in. What do you want me to do?
Well, just, you know, go and shut her up a bit. Turn on the old charm, you know what I mean? See if you can find out exactly what she's up to.
Be a sort of secret agent.
Oh, that's right, the sort of James Bond of the geriatrics, eh? Licensed to thrill and all in the firm's time.
Make it a firm's double time and you're on.
Oh, God, you're at it as well. All right, look, I tell you what. Before you go, get yourself one of those oxyacetylene torches.
What the hell for?
She's just had some new corsets fitted.
Hello, what's the trouble? You've got a face like a screwed-up tax demand.
I can't cook is the trouble. Breakfast was a disaster. Had to use a tea to put the toast out.
It's funny. You have no trouble cooking the books. Anything I can get you, like a simplified will form?
I'll settle for a yard and a half of peace and quiet.
Good morning, Gaffer. Ready for the meeting?
Well, that's all I needed. It's not this morning, is it?
This is it. The day socialism comes to Moffat's.
You mean to each according to his greed, from each according to his inability to get out of it. All right, we'll go in. Betty. Whack round the balance sheet. Well, there's only going to be 3 of us. Betty will take the minutes.
What's all this guff?
It's highly expensive, Gaffer. It shows we pay our accountants so much we can't really afford to employ them. Chairman's report.
Yes. The chairman's report is the same as last year, which was the same as the year before that. This year's fiasco, following last year's chaos, won't seem so bad when we get next year's cataclysm.
Did he say that?
No, but I refuse to type cock up 3 times.
Betty, can we cut the pantomime and get back to the drama?
Where does it say how much lolly we get? What is this? The directors do not recommend payment of a dividend? Does that mean to say we get nothing?
For God's sake, there's nothing to get, Harry. Don't you read the balance sheet? Net profit £151. From that, the government grab over 50 odd. I mean, it's hardly worth handing out.
£150 profit in the work that we are turning out? Come on, there's a fiddle going on here somewhere. Wait a minute. What is this? Chairman and managing director's fees? That's over 200 quid a week you get.
No, not really. You see, doing it that way, we only pay 30% tax instead of 40.
And I leave it in the business as a personal loan for working capital.
And I bet you get something out of that as well.
Well,
Oh, I can see now where the great train robbers went wrong. If only they had called themselves the board of directors of the mail train dismantling company, everything would have been legal.
Am I late?
Oh, come on in, Jack.
Oh, shove off, you old clown. Sure, it was decided by democratic decision. I represent the workers.
You just sit where you are, Jack. You're a shareholder. You've got every right to be here. How did your tete-a-tete with you know who go?
Well, it was like being cuddled by a killer whale and finding your harpoon was bent. But she's given me full authority to vote her shares how I want.
Thank you very much indeed, Jack.
And I'm supporting Harry.
You what?
If he's supporting me, what about it, Harry? Shall we vote ourselves on board?
Oh, for the kind of fees they get, I could even stand you.
What are you talking about, Jack? This is the fellow who changed your door chimes to play the red flag. You can't vote with him against me.
I'm banging my head against retirement age, and I'm not looking forward to seeing Jack and Ori with the home help.
What the hell's that got to do with it?
You gaffers don't have to retire, do they? And it's my only chance to be a gaffer. But don't worry, we'll need you as manager to run the thing.
Thank you very much indeed. Just before you two get completely carried away and drunk with power, remember my wife's shares and mine still keep me in control.
I hate to tell you, but Mrs. Moffat gave me her proxy as well. Whatever you did it in spades.
I think you're going to remember forgetting your silver wedding.
I move this meeting closed. Come on, let's go and check that the new bosses are not slacking.
I'll have that pair gelded.
What does that mean?
It's something unkind they do to horses. What about how can my missus join them against me?
Well, it's your own fault for forgetting a wedding anniversary.
I'll give her a silver wedding present. I'll have her mouth wired up. I think I'll go round the pub and have a large strychnine. Hey, while I'm out, get in touch with that union fella. Tell him I want to see him outside the main gate in an hour's time.
What, Wagstaff? What on earth for?
If you can't beat 'em, join 'em. And then beat 'em. I'm going on strike.
Mr. Moffat, isn't it? Brother Wagstaff. We met at the last negotiations.
No, I never forget a fleece.
This marching up and down with a placard. You must excuse my rather droll sense of humour, but it's almost as if you were on strike.
Yes.
But you're a gaffer.
What's that got to do with it? No law says a gaffer can't go on strike.
Come now, there must be. I'll check my back copies of the Labour Party manifesto. I can't see them overlooking a thing like that.
Anyway, I'm not a gaffer anymore. I've been sacked, so I'm striking.
If I may say so, you're not making a very good job of it.
If I may say so, what the bleeping heck's it got to do with you?
Well, your slogan's got no zing. You have to widen your appeal. You should have got in touch with the union. We use our own script writers.
I've heard everything. Right, you've talked me into it. I'll join the professionals.
Pardon? You mean you want to join the union?
Oh, why not? I'm a skilled worker who's been unfairly dismissed.
Yes, but it's not that easy. Anyway, we haven't got a managing director's section.
Well, I don't want it to be permanent, do I? I mean, once you've got rid of that power mad lot and call themselves my workers, I'll resign and claim a rebate on my union dues.
Have I got this right? You wish to join our union so that it will act against other union members for achieving the proletarian takeover the union's always advocated.
That's right, because they are now the bosses and I'm the worker, so you must support me against them.
And then you resign, leaving the union with no members, the ex-members with no jobs. You're the only one to get anything.
I knew I could rely on you.
You cannot get married again at your age.
But she's got a lot of shares.
Shares, you're money mad, you Tory twit. Oh, Brother Wagstaff. Oh, mixing with the opposition without the benefit of having a lawyer present, that's a bit risky.
Brother Moffat has applied to join the union.
Hey, what? Do you expect us to welcome free enterprise Fred into our midst? I would sooner share tight trousers with a frisky ferret.
Well,
You agree, then? He wants you slung out for joining the bosses.
But me? No. I have simply redeployed as boardroom convener of the new Moffat Cooperative.
Oh, no, you're not. We're having no closed boardroom in no co-op. I'll be at main gate picketing.
Hey, you just wait your turn. I'm using that pitch.
What is this? We cannot have management pinching our picket line. You find yourself another pitch.
talking about? You are management now, you great haggis.
I don't care. I don't care that pinch out there. It is holy ground.
Oh, and your feet have worn most of the holes.
And who drove me to it? You big fascist hyena. The blood of the workers has not been shed. Marxist slogans shall be carried. We shall never...
Shut up until we find an interpreter.
You can all shut up. We'll have to have a rota. We'll put the 4 names into a hat.
Who's yells the fourth?
Me! Do you have any idea how much unpaid overtime I have to put in? When everybody else's joint is sitting, I'm speeding up go-slows to full stops, and there's no union secretaries' union.
I thought you were on strike.
My next turn's at midnight.
What do you mean, turn?
It's like Strikeaholics Anonymous out there. They're all at it. Even young Ginger's joined in now with his demands. Mind you, some of them are a bit ridiculous. I mean, you'd never get a double bed between those lathes.
Well, that lad's just frustrated. You see, his girlfriend refused him on religious grounds, and she still said no when they came out of the churchyard.
You're not waiting for a laugh from me for that, do you? I mean, I'm ready to pack it all in, me. I think I'll go beachcombing along the Manchester Ship Canal.
Don't quit just when you're losing. I mean, who knows? Something could turn up at any second. Or even sooner. Hello, Moffat Engineering. It's your wife.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Hello, dear. How'd you get away? You tunnel out of the attic whilst your mother was at her boxing lessons? On your way home, what for? No, of course, I'm delighted, but what made you change your mind? Oh, really? Oh, I see. Aye, all right, well, no, don't worry about that. With your shares and mine, there'll only be one gaffer again round here. Yes, I'll see you later then, Dotty Pot.
Dotty Pot?
No, it's not a term of endearment I use without a couple of tankards of foaming brain anaesthetic, but she feels in need of a bit of comfort, I think. She just had a phone call for some woman reporter on the Mercury, talking about the coffee club meeting. She said, was it true that Harry's wife was going to give a talk on how to help your husband become chairman and managing director? That's all it needed. She's on her way back home like an intercontinental ballistic milk float.
So the Moffat mutiny's over. Well, now try spoiling her a little. I mean, we women may be noisier than continental quilts, but we're still a marvellous invention.
Yeah, I'll do something a bit special. I'll go and buy a bottle of that untrodden Swaziland claret we both like. Well, I like the price. She likes the bottles to make table lamps.
She'll be underwhelmed, underjoyed, and under no illusions.
I tell you something, this next 5 minutes could finish up in the Guinness Book of Records. It'll be the first board meeting ever held on a picket line. Oh, by the way, Betty, I happen to know there are no women reporters on the Mercury. There are strict rules, you know, about personal phone calls from this office. If it happens again, I shall have to stop it out of your wages.
Trust the politicians to the left or to the right, because they're all the same in office when they make it overnight. Resents the time he spends on paperwork and VAT, keeps the money that the taxman doesn't see.